Hi guys, we're late. How are you, bro?
Doing good.
Doing good. Got the Peggy fixed?
Yeah, got the implant put in and a little bit of pain still, but the show must go on.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Well, firstly, apologies, guys, for not getting the midweek podcast out. We've been working on this one all week. I put a lot of hours into this. Might upset one or two people, but I really hope not. This is more of a lesson on how to get out of the matrix. Yes, there are other people talking about it, but probably not in the same way that we're going to present this today. So, shall we just get straight into it, bro?
Yeah, get right into it.
Okay, let's do that. All right. So, let me get rid of that. So, I'm going to start with a disclaimer. This is not an attack. It's not meant to be disrespectful to anyone's beliefs. It's something that most people may not be aware of, and we think it's of the utmost importance. We're calling this one the middle path, escaping the matrix. All right, so we're all familiar with the this particular picture. Excuse me, this particular picture, the duality, basically, the good and the bad, the arm wrestle. Who's going to win? Well, if you disconnect either of these on your car isn't going to start. Go and take the negative off, your car ain't going to start. Go take the positive off, your car ain't going to start. Right? Positive, negative. And then we're told there's a battle for your soul. Jesus Christ wins the fight, and you can too if you listen to him. Okay, all right, well, let's let that be for a minute. But they're essentially both sides of the same coin. Okay, just imagine a coin, two sides of the same coin. Now, we're told that Jesus taught the middle path, the middle way, which up to a point, the biblical Jesus did. But there's a lot more to it. And this is the con. This is the deception. Hey, you liked a photo on Facebook of Jesus and the devil arm wrestling because the caption told you to if you wanted Jesus to win. Wow, what a devout Christian you are. Please further explain to me how about your faith and how you're not going to hell. So the yin and the yang, the fire and the water, the good and the bad. Can one exist without the other?
No, you can't have either one.
No. We have this thing which everybody is familiar with. But the point that I want to make is the fact that it's got female traits. Okay. And Harry, you found this awesome picture of the Jesus figure looking almost female. I mean, certainly effeminate, right?
Yeah,
you can see the effeminate. And remember, we talked about the incarnation here. If you're a male, you're 50% of your male energy and 10% female. The other 40% remains on the soul plane, on your what we call your higher self. So portrayed.
Yeah, you take that beard off that previous picture, that can easily pass for a.
Oh
for
yeah. And you know, it's the nurturing side of us guys. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. This is why this podcast has not been easy to put together, because it's a very fine line in the sand that we're going to show you. It blew me away when I figured it out. So anybody that follows our channel would know that we live in a copy and pasted realm. And we know from Genesis 1:2 and Jeremiah 4:23 to 28 that a large part of this copy was destroyed, but it seems to be that quite a lot of it was virtually untouched. And in that, I'm including many Asian countries such as Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. And I think there's more to this than meets the eye. When we think of the original realm, the copy, the overlap between the two.
Yeah, well, that's where the focus is. The focus is in the middle.
Yeah.
It's the shaded area that occupies both realms rather than a focus on one or the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just throw this up as an example, guys. This is Angkor Wat, very, very famous building in Cambodia. Now look at the caps. Look at the domes, the things on the top of the roof. Well, good old Wiki tells us in the second paragraph that it was built in the early 12th century. Yeah, right. Okay. I was converted to a Buddhist temple. Yeah. Well, look at the top and then look at the traditional Cambodian headwear. These are not pretty hats with roses on them. Can you see there's a definite connection? If this was designed to collect free energy from the ether, then what about this? What about this? I mean, does that look like it's just some kind of pretty headwear, or do you think it's tech? I mean, that's a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
And, you know, all these girls wearing the same kind of, well, headdress, I mean, for want of a better word, but this is tech. This is energy gathering tech. Was it a way of communicating telepathically with each other? Who knows? This one is in Thailand. I mean, this is just beautiful. And again, look at this Thai girl. What is she wearing? I mean, are you telling me that is just for decoration?
It looks more like an antenna.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. So it brings us into what we call spirituality. And this is where people are going to get a bit of a shock. When we go back and we look at what we consider to be the old realm or the original realm, Tartaria, plenty of maps, plenty. What if, now humor me for a minute, what if the residents of the original realm had no need to eat? If they had no need for food, well, the words hungry and hunger would not exist in that realm, right? I'm hungry. I need some food. I need something to eat. Well, if you don't eat, if you have no need to eat, then the words hungry and hunger would not be part of the vocabulary. And if you didn't need to eat, you wouldn't need to go to the toilet. These sewers were not built to carry shit. These were water. They allowed water to travel from one area to another. I mean, there's many pictures on the internet of beautiful, well handcrafted, what we today call sewers. So back to the duality, materialism versus spiritualism.
Real quick, and when we know that water is crucial for energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the word spiritualism or spirituality, if there was no such thing in this duality, this realm of duality, if there was no such thing as materialism, then we wouldn't have to define the difference between materialism and spiritualism. Right? I don't want to talk about it. Don't worry, Jesus is coming to save you. Caution, Christian under construction. God isn't finished with me yet. No, he isn't. Right. So again, let's look at the word spirituality. Cannot be separate from how we treat our bodies, construct our lifestyles, and keep our energy at higher levels. The spiritual way of Jesus, there is nothing wrong with this, but it's a construct. And I'm going to prove to you that spirituality is a construct of this realm of duality. Do you think she was spiritual? Do you think these girls were spiritual? Do you think in that realm that the word spiritual even existed? Probably not. It was natural, not spiritual, natural, not spiritual, natural. It's only in the world of duality that we have the opposing quote unquote forces, minds under construction. Look at the headgear again. I mean, we don't know whether or not these people actually existed, but at the end of the day, look at the headgear. If there was no materialism, or what we today call materialism in the realm of Tartaria, would there be spiritualism? Now, what I'm trying to get in round to saying is that if this realm is a singularity rather than a duality, there will be no need for spirituality because it would just be natural. Without materialism, there'd be no need for spirituality in order to distinguish between the two. So what if the word spirituality had no need to exist in the original realm because it was just natural? It's the same as this, right? We call this poverty. But if everybody lived in this environment, what does the word poverty mean? It means nothing. It doesn't need to exist because you need something with which to compare it to, right? My point is that if everyone lived the same lifestyle and there was nothing to compare that lifestyle with, how could you define poverty? How could you define affluence if you don't have poverty with which to compare it? So along comes this, or a huge construct. And from that, we get this dude. There's only one way out of darkness, Jesus. I am the light of the world. Now remember, Jesus, he's us, he's us. It's us. It's all of us. I am the light of the world. He who follows me, come on, babe, follow me. I'm the Pied Piper, can't you see? Men shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. Follow me. Follow me into the light. Follow me into the light. Are you with it yet, guys? Can you see what I'm laying down? Jesus lights the way, even in the darkest night. Now, look at this. I want you to pay attention to three biblical verses, 3:16, 3:16, 3:16. Let's go over them quickly. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life, everlasting life, everlasting life, everlasting life. Matthew 3:16, same numbers. Oh, 3 + 1 + 6 is 10, and 10 is the number of man. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went straight away out of the water, and the heavens were opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending, sending him down, descending. Now, here's the kicker. Revelation 3:16. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Now look at the way the word spew. We spell it today S-P-E-W. Why is it spelled S-P-U-E? Good question, Nigel. Well, when I show you the answer, I'm going to blow your bloody doors off, guys. So we're going to come back to the 3:16. I wanted to highlight the everlasting life, the descending, and the lukewarm, which is in the book of Revelation. So just hold those thoughts. Now, this is the most important thing, the most important part of this presentation that you are going to see. I want you to look at the numbers, Matthew 26:26. As they were eating, Jesus took bread, blessed it, brake it, and gave it to his disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body. 26:26. Next verse is 26:27. He took the cup, gave thanks, gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. Now, he doesn't tell them what it is. He tells them to drink it. And they, in their blind faith, they drink it. And then after they've drunk it, in the next verse, he tells them what it is. This is my blood. Doesn't tell them what it is first. He tells them to drink it. And then he tells them it's his blood. All right. So the significance of 26, guys. What is in our blood? Iron. Iron is the 26th element on the periodic table. We are concentrating on 26:26 and 26:27. 26 is iron. 27 is cobalt. Now, what I want you to focus your attention on is the atomic mass, 58.933, And in iron, 55. This is the average atomic mass, 55.845. We have got two 26s and one 27. Well, what happens when we put them together? Two 26s, a 26 and 27. So we've got 3 times 55.845 and 1 58.933. Add them all together, we get 226. Oh, what's the significance of 226? No. Radium, Ra, the sun god, Ra, the 88, the reincarnation. 226, guys. You can't make this shit up. 88 miles an hour, Back to the Future. I'm putting this presentation together and it hit me. Back to the Future. What does that actually mean? Well, imagine that you died yesterday. Now imagine you'll be reincarnated in, let's just say 2030, 9 years from now. That's 9 years into the future. And you're coming back. Can you see it? You're coming back to the future. Now, double mind blow. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee. S-P-U-E. Why is it spelt that way? Well, if you copy the whole phrase into Gematrinator, into Chaldean, it is 314. What is 314? It is pi. 3 plus 1 plus 4 reduces to 8, which again is the reincarnation. You can't make this up. Now, as I said to you earlier, Harry, if the word spew was S-P-E-W, you wouldn't get this result. It wouldn't come out at 3.14. Yeah, because you'd have a W in there to start with. Yeah, which would give you a different result. So, you know, this whole phrase comes to 3.314, which is pi, and pi is the code, the computer code that runs this whole realm. We have proven it. Logan's proven it. I got this from Logan's recent podcast, Prison Planet 2, which is an absolute must watch, guys. It's pi, the double T. Right, so Jesus is the sun. Okay, Ra. Ra, ra, ra. Ra, 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 ra. How many of you sent down today, bro? Well, if Jesus is the sun, what's the other dude? Where do we come from? The moon reincarnates us. Now, Satanism is not a white light religion. It is a religion of the flesh, the mundane, the carnal, all of which are ruled by Satan, the personification of the left-hand path. Right-hand path. Righteousness is in Christ. The left and the right. The left and the right. Two wings on the same bird. Materialism. Materialism. This is your Satan. I want. Give me, give me, give me. I want, I want, I want. Now, Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you'll have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. I'm the Pied Piper, can't you see? Possessed. Sell your possessions. What do you possess? You possess your soul. If you could sell your soul for one wish, what would it be? You possess your soul. Go, sell your possessions. Marilyn Manson said, sell your soul to yourself. You'll make more money. Yeah. I have learned long ago to possess my soul in patience and accept the inevitable. Sell your possessions. Sell your soul. Now, I'm not going to give this guy any credit at all, because I think this is just insane. But this is a biblical scholar, or who calls himself a biblical scholar. I mean, just read this, guys. When we are called to follow, Jesus expects us to obey, to upend our lives if necessary, and get in line behind him and his will immediately, without reservation. This is what we have been taught, guys. The indoctrination, the deception runs so fucking deep. Follow, fall low. phonetically.
Nigel, did you mention the get behind me, Satan?
We mentioned that in the last podcast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the two-headed Janus.
Yeah. So here we go. Very famous one-hit wonder by a guy called Christian St. Peters, called the Pied Piper. Follow me. I'm the Pied Piper. Follow me. Follow Jesus. Follow Jesus to the edge of the cliff. The Truman Show was not called the Truman Show for no reason. This guy was not called Christoph for no reason. True man. Doesn't look too happy there when old Truman finds his way out of the Matrix. It's a game of chess, guys. We are the players. So what's the takeaway from all this, guys? Both sides of the coin have been designed to keep us trapped in the Matrix. Following the teachings of the Christ is not the same as following the Christ into the light and therefore back into the Matrix trap.
Yeah, I think most people can't distinguish between following someone and doing as the teaching is.
Yeah.
You can follow someone's teaching and not necessarily follow the person. And
that's the trap.
A lot of people follow the person and or the concept and do not do the right things.
That's exactly it. That's the trap. I mean, look at. I mean, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I mean, how many church-going Christians do you know that are clearly hypocrites? I mean, there's an awesome country Irish song called "Sunday Morning Christian," praying louder than the rest, big forgiveness at the altar with your chin down on your chest. But tomorrow will be Monday. You'll revert back to your ways, shouting, cheating, kicking, shoving, with no thought of God nor loving. Don't let me stand in your way. Maybe God will forgive you next Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
That's the formula right there.
Yep. In a recent podcast, we talked about the bull, the Bible, and we're going to do a whole podcast on the bull, on the Taurus, on the bull, how it all fits into this duality. The Bible is two bulls. It's also full of parables. Why do you think well-known roads and famous streets are called boulevards? Boulevards. Whether you think this woman or not, I mean, some people think it's a man, but it doesn't matter. And the reason that I'm throwing this in is because my friend Kim from the Bard channel mentioned something to me the other day. And you know what she's saying here, Jesus said, "I'm the truth, and it's your duty and mine to speak the truth. Then it is up to the person who hears it whether to accept or reject it." Yeah, you can't fault that. But Kim told me that she knows someone who actually knew Mother Teresa and asked her, "What do you think is the biggest problem in the world today?" Now, she said that she kind of expected Mother Teresa to talk about homelessness, poverty in third world countries, etc., but she didn't. And I'm paraphrasing here. Sorry, Kim, I can't remember exactly what it was, but she basically said the biggest problem in the world today is the lack of spiritualism in the West and their fixation on materialism. Materialism makes us spoiled children, which is where we came in, which is why we have the duality, which is why we have what we have in this fucked up realm. Mm-hmm. So the way out is not to go into the light. We talked about this, Harry, in our Reincarnation Trap podcast a few months ago. The way out is simply not to go into the light.
And both characters are bearing light. One is light bringer and one is light giver, right?
Yeah, so absolutely.
It's like the candle burning on both ends, right? That's the expression.
Yeah.
You want to go between the lights. You don't want to go on either side. But you know how we have that concept of the Kali Yugas, the 2160 years. It could be that, you know, during that elevation time, everything's pure, everything's non-material, and then you plunge and fall, and then you go into those dark years where everything is hard and difficult and dark. And that's where that materialism happens. Maybe the midpoint between those is where we see the change or the ability to see both material and spiritual. You know, that progression.
Yeah, but my point is that if materialism didn't exist, then neither would spiritualism. It would be a singularity, and everybody would just be on the same kind of wavelength, you know.
But
I mean,
during the golden ages, maybe those material years are forgotten, and during the dark ages, the spiritualism is forgotten. But it's that transition point where both are visible. That's when you have to make that choice.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and when we look at what we call money, you know, it's printed out of thin air. It's all fake. But we can't do anything with. We can't even live. We can't live. We can't exist without this fake. You know, what we stupidly call money. You know what I mean? So the whole construct is based around the materialistic and what we call the spiritual. Right? But spirituality is a construct of this realm, as is materialism. One can't exist without the other, right? The same with the devil and the Jesus figure. One can't exist without the other because they're both in this realm. If there was no evil, what would be good? If you got nothing to compare good with, then what is good? It's only how we've been indoctrinated and trained. If you had no good, then would you have evil? Well, you couldn't define it as being evil because you've got nothing to compare it against.
Yeah, it's like the hot and cold.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell what's hot and what's cold if you didn't have one or the other.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So comments, as always, guys. I know some of you have been emailing me saying, "Come on, we want to know what you're gonna present." We kind of planned this to do it on the weekend, but as I say, I've had several people email both of us, so we're putting it up right now. So as always, welcome to all our new subscribers. Thanks for joining us. You're probably going to have to go back and watch 2 or 3 of the previous podcasts in order to, you know, come up. Certainly, if you go back and just watch the last one, which is where Harry and I kind of brought everybody up to speed with the copy and paste and the biblical reference to the controllers, Genesis 1:27, 1:28, all that kind of thing. So if you go back and watch the one previous to this, if you're new to the channel, then that will kind of bring you up to speed. But as always, guys, thanks for your comments. Thanks to our awesome contributors. Love Good, Jeanette. I mean, she's just sending us some amazing stuff. And of course, Blue Sky, Mac. You know who you are, guys. You know who you are. So again, let us know what you think in the comments below, and we will see you in about 3 or 4 days from now. Anything you want to say before we go, bro?
I think you did an excellent job showing the need to have both polarities in order to be able to even understand the opposite. That's because that's where we live. We're living in that duality of dualities. We talked about how it's not just one or the other. It's really a combination of both in extremes. And then I'm going to see if I can start covering a little bit on some of the stories that we've known in the past. Blatantly, they've been screaming at us about the truth, but we've been so fixated in looking right ahead of us that we've completely missed what they've been telling us all these years. So I'm going to expand on that a little bit on the next one.
Well, like we spoke about before, even in these what we call fairy tales. Mm-hmm. I mean, these things are fucking evil. When you actually get into them and read them with a fresh pair of eyes, they're inherently fucking rotten, evil, horrible, horrible. And yet this is what we've been teaching our kids. Anyway. All right, guys, we love you all, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye. See you.